classics.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse on the Yum website. Just visit yumcayman.ky for more info.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman. Welcome to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. It's a beautiful day. Be safe on the roads coming into work this morning. And I like to call it Friday Eve, which is, it is Thursday. It's Friday Eve, February 13th. Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Men, that's for you. Get it together. I've been saying this all week. See, I got one more day to know what you're going to do for your lady for Valentine's Day. It really is a day about us. So just keep that in mind, please. We do love you back tenfold, but you got to take care of your lady. But on this segment of the Business Buzz, I am welcoming from the Ombudsman office, we have Charlene Roberts, Senior Appeals and Policy Analyst. We have Jerray Vassel, Information Rights Analyst, and we have Andy White, Information Rights Analyst. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm good. Andy, are you ready for Valentine's Day tomorrow?
Ready.
All right. Well, you got your reminder. So we'll see. Well, we're going to be talking about data protection this morning. And right before we get into that, just give us a bit of a brief background as to the Office of the Ombudsman and its role in the Cayman Islands.
We're happy to do that. Again, I'm Charlene from the Office of the Ombudsman, and good morning, Cayman, and happy Valentine's Day to all of you out there come February 14th. Now, the Office of the Ombudsman has a very important role in the Cayman Islands. We merged in 2018 we had two offices merging, the Information Commissioner's Office and the Complaints Commissioner's Office. That role is now under the umbrella of the Office of the Ombudsman, where we have oversight of 5 laws, very unique in the world, I might say, and that is the Freedom of Information Act, or the Open Records Act, and the Data Protection Act, Complaints, Maladministration. We have the Police Complaints by the Public and the Whistleblower Protection Act.
Wow, so those
are
are 5
crucial laws.
Very crucial, yes.
And what we do is free. So we want the public to know we are here. Feel free to come to us when you feel that your rights under these acts have been infringed upon.
I feel like I should have come to you a couple times already. Sometimes time gets away from me. But I absolutely agree. It is a very important role that you do play in society, and we need something like the Ombudsman. So,
absolutely.
We're here to talk about data protection more than anything. Mm-hmm. So we do have a Data Protection Act, and if we can get a bit of a brief background on what the Data Protection Act is and why it was implemented.
Good morning again, Cayman. Happy Friday Eve. It's Jerray Vassel with the Office of the Ombudsman, and I'll be telling you a bit of a background of the Data Protection Act. So the Data Protection Act 2017 and the Data Protection Regulations 2018 came into force on the 30th of September 2019. It introduced the first legislative framework on data protection in the Cayman Islands. The Data Protection Act, or as we know it to be, or we call it the DPA, gives individuals control over their personal data and protects against its misuse in both public and private sectors. The Act outlines definitions, obligations, exemptions, enforcement measures, 8 data protection principles, and 8 personal data rights. We serve as a supervisory authority for data protection-related matters in the Cayman Islands. This means we investigate, mediate, and decide on complaints about your rights and how individuals' personal data is being used.
Okay, now I feel over the past few years, it's been a really, at least over the past 5 years or so, it's been a really big kind of term being thrown around with data protection.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people understand why it's important. Why do we really care about data protection when it comes to our personal data? Mm-hmm. I've been hearing there's certain platforms that when they have your information, they can sell it to others. Like, why does that really, really matter to us as individuals?
Yeah. It can happen.
It
And
can.
we celebrated Data Protection Day in January.
The 28th, yes.
That was the 28th. And the mandate was, the theme was the evolving mandate of data protection. So going forward, we're looking at so much happening, how data protection is evolving. And we want everyone to know this has to do with your personal data. Why is it important to know what the public, what an organization, government, what are they doing with your personal information, where you do business, and so on. So it's vital for people just to, at the bare minimum, to understand that. And that's what we're here to do.
And on the flip side of that, there's also the mandate for these organizations, public and private, to actually comply with the Data Protection Act
Right.
when dealing with personal data. So that's a two-sided coin there that we're working with.
Right. But you can always do a Google search. We give a lot of our information on social platforms as well. So when I look at that, I'm like, okay, well, a lot of our just basic data is out there. So why is something like the Data Protection Act important? Why is it vital for people?
Well, it teaches you as an individual to be cautious and be more aware of what you're putting out there, as well as to, when someone is also asking you for something, to take a bit of a moment and pause and say, well, why do you need that? And to know that, or to feel empowered to ask why you need that, not just to comply and provide it. Because it is your right to know.
Right. So there is the personal data that you had mentioned, right? So when it comes to data, there's personal data and there's sensitive data.
Correct.
Can you tell us what both is, the difference between the two?
So sensitive personal data is a specific category of data. It's actually very prescriptive. It actually defines certain areas, for example, like criminal history, criminal records, medical, biometric information, sex, nationality, race. So those kind of things.
That's sensitive.
It's a special category of personal data that's always easily, or in most cases, easily identified.
Okay. And then your personal data would involve?
So it's defined as any personal information where you can identify, or where an individual can be identified, putting together any other information that may be out in the public realm.
Okay.
So once you're identifiable, and it relates back to, both definitions relate back to a living individual.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And the sensitive one will just kind of identify you a little bit more, but it's also more your sensitive info, your medical records, whether there's, I guess your was your sex involved in that, or is that your,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
all right. It's interesting. What are some of the ways that you know of that data is collected?
Oh my. So many ways.
It's vast. You would be surprised, because again, it's not just things that are straight up identifying you by name. It's once you can be identified. So, okay, your name may not be in this email, but clearly we can pinpoint that it's you, especially if it's a small organization, a small office. So data is in everything and everywhere. And that's the thing. Some people believe, it's finance data, it's health data, but it's in a lot of small organizations. It's in when you process an email address, your first name to last name, your banking account, your address on a letter, your PO box, all of these things.
What are people going to do with this? Like, what are organizations going to do with this information?
Well, very importantly, they need to ensure that they are protecting it, that they're not just giving it to anyone, that they're only storing it for the purpose that they originally collected it for. And if they're not using it for that purpose, then they need to ensure that they're notifying the individual of that. So very, it's crucial that organizations, and this is why we talk about the rights, because we want people to know that you have control about what is happening with your personal data. So I go to the bank, I have an account with the bank. It doesn't mean that a bank officer or teller, whoever, can give that information to just about anyone. It means that you have already informed me by giving me notice of what you're doing with my data. Whatever you're using it for, whether it's regulatory or it's just for investment. It depends. And a lot of times we do say that. It depends a lot of times. But importantly is letting us know, giving us notice of those actions prior to, right? Yes, there is consent, which a lot of people tend to rely on, and that's good. However, you should also know that that can be taken away at any time. So we will say to you, it is not, if you can get consent, that's wonderful, that's good, but don't always believe that that is solely what you need. You also need, you may have legal basis for doing what you do. You have to explore those things. You have to explore, even as technology is improving, explore what else you can do to ensure that you're protecting person's personal data. Where is it kept? Is it in a cloud somewhere? And,
right.
How is that protected? How long do you keep it for?
That was going to be a question. How long are organizations mandated to keep this personal data on you for a certain amount of time? Do they have to get rid of it after a certain amount of time?
Yeah, they do.
Well, that usually depends on the type of organization and the type of data.
Okay.
Some organizations, as Charlene mentioned, may have a legal basis to hold data for certain time periods. For example, a lot of the civil service would have retention schedules as a time frame that they have to hold information, when they can dispose of and destroy information. So it depends. There's also different sectors that would have what we call best practice guidelines or so forth as to when they can keep certain information. For example, like with in the healthcare industry and so forth. Banking would have as well.
Okay. Now, I think, if I'm right, Jerray, you had mentioned that there's data processing steps or ways that data is processed. So if you could let us know what some of those ways are that data is processed to give us a bit of an understanding.
Everything you do with data is considered processing. So from collecting the data to editing the data, sorting the data, deleting the data, saving the data, even if you just collect it and just upload it to a computer, put it in a file, physical or a digital, it's all considered processing under the definition of the Act.
Okay. And there's 8 data processing principles?
Not data processing, but 8 principles, yes.
Okay. Can you mention what those are? Just in brief summary, I know there's a lot of information to go under each principle, and we'd be here until 9 o'clock talking about that. But
I'll pass it over to
all right,
he's going to quiet it over there.
Right. He has been. He's thinking about Valentine's.
So let's start with the individual rights in relation to the protection by the DPA. One of the first rights is the right to be informed. So that means that individuals have the right to be informed about the collection and use of their personal data, as Mrs. Charlene alluded to. So that means that sometimes with organizations we'll see certain positions where you have they do collect data, but they don't actually inform the public about how they use that data, and it's a continuing process, as Ms. Vassel said, where you're actually going to the public and you're saying, okay, we're processing your data in this way. Technology may have changed, different regulatory requirements may have changed, but yet you still have to make sure that that individual is informed about how you process their data. So it's not just this continuing balance where once I've started processing 20 years ago, I automatically have the right. So we encourage organizations to keep up to date with all of the different changes in the DPA and the law as well. Moving forward, you have the right of access, where individuals have the right to access their personal data, and this is referred to as a subject access. So this is something we get a lot, where you're coming to the Ombudsman and you're saying that there's personal data out there and an organization may not want to necessarily give you it instantly. So you come into us, we review the case, and then we basically decide whether or not that organization has the power to give you your data, or and sometimes, in collaboration with Freedom of Information or something else we do, you have the right to get records, for example. So there is that right that you have to access your personal data. Moving on, the right of rectification, where individuals have the right to keep their information accurate, up to date, and complete. So that means that an individual can, perhaps come to us to go or after they've gone to the organization and say that, hey, you have incorrect data about me. Like, I want this rectified. I want, my correct address, my correct name. I've gotten married, whatever the change may be. So you have that right to know that all your data is up to date as it currently stands with you. So, these are very important rights that people should know that they have, because sometimes it's all happened to us where we've seen incorrect information or we haven't seen completely up-to-date information. We might want to go and change that.
Right.
Yeah.
You
So
also
we have that
have
right.
the right to stop trick processing. So at any time, you have the right to request that you stop processing this information. You have the right to ask for it not to begin processing, to withdraw. You also have the right to cease processing specific processing. For example, okay, I no longer want you to text me. I no longer want you to reach out to me via this email.
Oh, unsubscribe.
Yeah.
It's my favorite option. Yeah.
You have the right to stop direct marketing.
Yeah.
You also have the right in relation to automated decision making to have that decision, which is basically something done by computer AI, to have that reviewed by a person.
All right. So these are some of the 8 principles that we're mentioning right
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And
yes.
the right to seek compensation. So you can go to the courts with a matter.
Okay.
Once, and maybe it is better to come through us, of course, first to ensure that your data was breached and all of that. We will do an investigation. You will get a report of that. So after that, if you want to seek compensation, you do have a right to do that. And of course, that means you have a right to complain.
Right.
Which is one of the rights.
People love to complain. We're a little late for a commercial break right now, so we're going to go into a commercial break. And on that, I want to go, when we return, I want to talk about what happens when we find out our personal information, that data has been breached.
Okay.
All right.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series. Brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Captain Swanson Curry Ebanks, 1914 through 1989. Curry Ebanks was the oldest of 10 children of John Audnett and Celestia Elvira Ebanks and attended West Bay Primary School. Taught by some of the great Caymanian sea captains, he took command of his first ship at 17. He qualified as a master mariner at 21 and continued his life at sea until a car accident terminated his maritime career in 1960. He married 3 times and was widowed twice, and he fathered 8 children. He is best remembered for his victorious battle with the 1944 hurricane, which overtook his ship, the Jemson, en route from Swan Island to Grand Cayman. At the height of the storm, he decided to demast the ship to prevent it from rolling over, which would have meant certain death for everyone aboard. During the next 8 days, the ship had to be demasted 3 times. Each time, Captain Curry had the sails put into a seaman's bag and attached to the bow to function as a sea anchor, guiding the ship purely by dead reckoning. When the storm subsided and he got his first confirmed sighting, he was 5 miles off East End.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
It will be Saturday, March 1st, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The 13th Annual Rotary Central Health Check Lifesaver, a mini medical just for you, free to you. Your blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, hemoglobin, weight management, and more. Free medical guidance, doctors, nurses, medical technicians, free glucometers, blood pressure monitors, subject to conditions. Save the date March 1. See you at Cost You Less West Bay Road, A.L. Thompson's Home Depot, Foster's Airport, Foster's West Bay, Savannah United Church. The Rotary Central Health Check 25 Lifesaver, March 1st, supported by the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens and the Health Services Authority of the Cayman Islands. Knowing changes everything.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Max. What's your favorite part of school?
I love science. I love playing outside. What's yours?
It's lunch.
Ha! Yum. Yes, yum.
Yum School Lunch program ensures your kids have fresh, healthy lunch options every day. Yum School Lunches are now available at selected private and public schools across Grand Cayman.
My favorite food from school is pasta, jerk chicken, and spaghetti and meatball.
I love Cayman-style beef, chicken, curry. Yum. We love school lunch. Yum.
Vendors. Last call for vendors for Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day. The 56th Annual Agriculture Show. Position your business and products in front of tens of thousands of people in one day at the Stacy Watler Agriculture Pavilion in Lower Valley. Ash Wednesday, March 5th. Contact Kelly Holding on 623-8822 to book your vendor stall today. The 56th Annual Agriculture Show. Ash Wednesday, March 5th.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio from the Office of the Ombudsman, we have Charlene Roberts, Senior Appeals and Policy Analyst, Jerray Vassel, Information Rights Analyst, and Andy White, also Information Rights Analyst. We are talking about data protection, and right before the break, I said, okay, I'm gonna be asking this question, so here I am asking it. What happens if we find out as an individual that our data was leaked, or that an organization may have breached, the rules on how they're supposed to be handling data? What happens if we find that out? What do we do?
Okay, what do we do? Big question. So the first thing we want to do is, well, we might, some individuals do look at the DP and try to ascertain whether that organization has breached their data. But the formal steps, I would say, would be to contact the Ombudsman, go on our website, submit a data breach form, or you can submit a complaint form on behalf of the organization that you think has breached your data. And then from then, we will take your case and ascertain whether that breach has happened. So sometimes, as we were talking about earlier, it's a situation where we have to determine whether we have jurisdiction to accept the complaint or accept the data breach. Sometimes when dealing with financial information, it can be CIMA or it can be a bank that will normally deal with that situation when it pertains to personal accounts. So there's a discussion that we'll normally have in the team determining, well, the law says this, the law says it's personal data that's identifiable. So if it's credit card information, is that something that can identify you? Is it just an address? Is that something that can identify the person? So there's a lot of cases and history that we have to go and look back to see, well, is this actually someone's personal data? So I would say once you submit the complaint or the breach notification, we'll assess that. We'll send you a formal email saying that we've taken on your case and this is how we're going to resolve the complaint or breach.
Now, Andy, I have a follow-up question with that. In my little data protection course that I did yesterday, that the Civil Service College offers, I was like, let me prepare for this show by doing that course. They'd mentioned that financial information was part of personal data, not sensitive, which I was like, that should be very sensitive.
Yes, it's not.
But it's just considered personal information.
Yes.
So I don't see how a credit card number could identify you, but how is that easily found?
So that's the thing. Sometimes there's situations where your credit card number could have leaked or any other information on that card. So I think this is in dispute generally. Some cases say that, yes, a credit card number is personal data because of what people can do with it.
Yeah.
In terms of getting loans or, just simply sending your information out to someone else and then they can add it on. But there are cases that say, for example, that a credit card number is not personal data because it's just a number. You can't specifically identify someone just using that number. So
interesting. It's a gray area a little bit.
It is a gray area.
So what are some tips that you would have? Because now I'm thinking, man, if somebody hacked in your computer, and let's say you're somebody who saves your credit card number to your computer as an autofill kind of option, maybe you might consider taking that off. It shouldn't be an autofill thing. But what would your tips be when it comes to how individuals can protect their data?
As technology and society evolves, protecting personal data becomes increasingly important, as we've ascertained.
Mm-hmm.
So the majority of people also may be overwhelmed as, okay, what do we do? Where do I go? Or should I just, have at it? But understanding certain measures will help you secure, preserve, and your privacy and your rights. So we can be cautious about what we share. So sharing personal information online, on your social media, for example, share your favorite color, your pet name, what year you graduated, those kind of posts on Instagram.
Right. I know I've partaken in them.
Your birthday, your home address, and obviously financial information.
Mm-hmm.
So think twice about what you post. Also consider fixing up the passwords, throwing some special characters in there, making it a bit complex and harder to guess.
I have no more passwords left in me. I don't know about you guys, but
considering two-factor authentication as well is another
it's a big thing.
Yeah.
All right. Now I know that you said during the break you had mentioned that there was, people will complain. I guess it's about data leaks or how their data is being used. So people have come to the office of the Ombudsman. You said you had some stats to share.
Okay, yes.
That could kind of paint a picture of
So I'll
what's
be
going
sharing
on.
from our 2023 report. The 2024 report hasn't been tabled and approved yet. So in 2023, our workload grew tremendously in all areas. So the number of inquiries we responded to grew by 16%. Complaints received increased by 56%, and complaints closed by 67%. The number of data breaches received grew by 99%, and data breaches resolved increased by an astonishing 134%.
That were resolved?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that sounds like a good stat.
We had 121 inquiries, did 3 presentations, because we also do presentations to the public, we do presentations for organizations. I actually had some numbers about the orders and so forth here. So breach notifications that we received in 2023, we received 183 notifications.
And this is just to do with the Cayman Islands, people in the Cayman Islands, right?
Right.
Okay, you don't deal with any other foreign countries, nothing?
So an organization, or a data controller, as we call organizations under the law, is an organization that is established physically in the Cayman Islands and processing personal data in the Cayman Islands, or it's an organization that's established overseas that is processing data in the Cayman Islands.
Okay.
So all of those overseas entities that are registered here but not physically here also do have to report to us.
Okay. Oh, geez. That's a big workload. We've got to wrap up. We're at 8 a.m. So if there's any kind of final thoughts you'd like to leave for our listeners to get in contact with you, if they have any inquiries about this, if they want to learn more about data protection, let them know.
We do have some final thoughts that we want to leave with the public. Just to say, visit our website. It's a very, very awesome website. We're so proud of it. There's a lot of information there.
Awesome.
Please feel free to visit and follow our Facebook page as well for more information and updates. On Wednesday this next week, 19th February, we will be in the Parliament from 10 to 212. And we invite you to tune in on CIG TV.
Or Radio Cayman.
Or Radio Cayman.
As we carry it in the evenings.
Right.
And this meeting is intended to provide the public with greater insight into the activities of the Office of the Ombudsman and promote awareness throughout our community or society. Ms. Sharon Ralston, as everyone hopefully knows now, is our Ombudsman.
Yes.
And she helps to facilitate a wonderful process within our office to collaborate and do what we do and do it well.
Yes.
We're very proud of our office and we're proud of our independence.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. We've got to go to the 8 a.m. news, so I appreciate you guys coming on and giving us a little bit of information, background, and how we can better protect our data as individuals. All right, we'll go to the 8 a.m. news, and I'll be back with you at 8:15.
Thank you. And studio time now is a minute and a half after 8. Brought to you with kind compliments of Foster's.
Change is in the bag at Foster's. Starting February, Foster's will no longer sell single-use plastic bags at checkout. Another step in our commitment to empowering a sustainable Cayman. Bag for better with our more resilient, cost-effective reusable bag designed to help reduce plastic waste while protecting our island's natural beauty. By choosing these reusable bags and repeatedly using them, you play a pivotal role in the fight against waste. Every small choice adds up to something greater. So help us make a meaningful impact for renewal. Foster's. Better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
I'm April Cummings with your latest news. 7 members of the Cayman Islands National Conservation Council have been replaced, with Gilbert McLean taking over as chair. The new members are Ezard Miller, Captain Eugene Ebanks, Dr. Steve McPhail, Arden McLean, Kenny Ryan, and Paula Tatham. Ian Kirkham remains as an appointee, and Frank Rolston as well as the National Trust representative. The changes, according to Minister Dwayne Seymour, aim to create a better balance for the community and be seen to be fair for all. The Council's membership is defined by the National Conservation Act, consisting of statutory members and appointees, with the chair holding a casting vote. Elected government agrees to consider amending local regulations related to the real estate industry and limiting the number of non-Caymanian and non-PR holding agents.
It's time for us to benefit from this market. The whole world knows what's going on here with all the real estate that's being bought up by people from overseas. But at least let the Caymanians know start to benefit.
West Bay Member of Parliament Bernie Bush tabled the private members motion, which is for consideration by government only, and it's non-binding. In the government's response, Premier the Honourable Jodi-Ann O'Connor-Conley told MPs there was support for the motion, but anything formal would need to strike the right balance.
Within a proposed new regulations or regulatory regime, there are, of course, potential drawbacks. For example, the market distortions and reduced competition. Price controls and commissions and fees would, of course, limit competition, resulting in market inefficiencies. Over-regulation might also push smaller agents out of business, reducing consumer choice. We believe that the cost of compliance for real estate agents might be passed on to the buyers or the purchasers and sellers, leading to higher transaction costs in the housing market. And we believe that enforcing rules against unethical practices would create bureaucratic hurdles.
The Premier says any proposed regulatory framework should focus on the entry requirements, ethical standards, and ongoing professional development and accountability. As for limiting the number of expat agents,
as we build the middle class and as we endeavour to build wealth among our own Caymanian, I believe that that should be a consideration that is put on the table. In implementing such a provision, the government need only provide a transitional provision to allow current real estate companies to train Caymanians for the agent post.
The private members motion passed. That's your local news at this hour. I'm April Cummings. Now to the BBC for stories making headlines around the world.
BBC News with Moira Alderson.
Germany's Defence Minister Boris Pistorius has accused Donald Trump of making concessions to Russia before peace talks have even begun. His comments came after the US Defence Secretary said there's no realistic prospect of Ukraine regaining all its lost territory and rejected the prospect of Ukraine's NATO membership. Donald Trump has said he'll meet Vladimir Putin in Saudi Arabia to discuss the war. 7 European countries have issued a statement insisting they must be part of any negotiations. A car's been driven into a trade union rally in the German city of Munich. Police say at least 28 people have been injured. Police have detained the driver, a 24-year-old Afghan national. The regional prime minister says it was probably an attack. Hamas has said it will now release 3 Israeli hostages on Saturday and is committed to the ceasefire deal with Israel. The announcement follows talks in Cairo, but the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has denied that the ceasefire talks are back on track. Refugees at Sudan's largest displacement camp say RSF paramilitaries have been shooting indiscriminately at civilians since they stormed the area on Tuesday. At least 10 people are reported to have been killed. Sudan says a final deal has been agreed with Moscow to establish a Russian naval base on the Red Sea coast. It would be a significant step in securing Moscow's influence in the region. Lawyers for one of Uganda's main opposition politicians, Kizza Besigye, says he's critically ill in jail 3 days after starting a hunger strike. He's on trial accused of treachery. The Japanese car giants Honda and Nissan have abandoned plans for a merger which would have created one of the world's biggest car makers. And the India-based multinational Adani Group says it's pulling out of 2 proposed wind power projects in Sri Lanka. The new Sri Lanka government has moved to renegotiate the contract. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the past 10 years, Health City Cayman Islands has been providing a comprehensive range of in-house medical services, from routine care to highly complex surgeries. We've transformed healthcare in the region, saving thousands of lives in the process. Recognized for quality and excellence, Health City brings together expert doctors, the best technology, and the latest techniques to provide world-class healthcare to those who need it. Health City Cayman Islands, a decade of healing.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcade, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's see what the skies, wind and seas have in store for us today. Current temperature is 80 degrees. Relative humidity is 83%. The barometric pressure 30.03 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 5 knots. Overnight low was 76. Synopsis indicate moderate winds and seas expected to continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association with a high-pressure system over the Atlantic Ocean. A slight increased chance of showers is likely tonight as a trough moves across the western Caribbean early Friday morning. Radar images show isolated showers moving in and around the Cayman area, moving towards the northwest. Now the forecast for today calling for mainly fair with partly cloudy spells and a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 80s Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures falling to the mid-70s tonight. Your winds will be east to southeast 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Today's high tide will be this morning at 11 minutes past 10, low tide this afternoon at 4:19, and a high tide again tonight at 10:21. The sun will set this evening at 6:23 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:55. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Sunday morning.
Bill, glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Britke. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mark Mike John Sean.
It's Mordecai.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britke, where people come first.
Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Brought to you by these kind sponsors. The Cayman Islands Football Association, CIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Cayman Insurance Center.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call me today, Michael Webster, at 925-5433.
UWI Open Campus, on-site, online, and on demand.
Visit open.uwi.edu. Call them today at 946-8322.
Super Jam.
Also brought to you by
Cayman Airways. Call them at 949-2311 to book your non-stop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
Superior Auto Center. Do it right the first time with Superior Auto.
949-9570
or 525-9571.
Superior Auto. They keep your car in tune.
And Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
An Ocean Deep Mobile Massage, your go-to for high-quality massage and spa services. WhatsApp 924-4159 or email oceandeepmassage21@gmail.com.
The #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning again. Checking in on traffic. Coming from the east, traffic is steady as you approach the Linford Pearson Highway. Slow moving traffic on Cool Road. Eastbound traffic on Cool Road is moving along pretty good. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue flowing at a good pace. Moderate flow of traffic coming from the West Bay 4-way stop. And light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. Edward Street remains closed and traffic diversion in place. Please follow the signs. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is steady heading to the Georgetown area and heading to the West Bay area on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz. Traffic is moving along moderately. Coming off of the Astley-Tibbetts Highway, steady traffic and continuing on to North Sound Road. Industrial Park area flowing moderately. If you've seen accidents or incidents, please give us a call here at Radio Cayman 949-6990. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic. Remember, click it or ticket.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just the delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
It will be Saturday, March 1st, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The 13th Annual Rotary Central Health Check Lifesaver, a mini medical just for you, free to you. Your blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, hemoglobin, weight management, and more. Free medical guidance, doctors, nurses, medical technicians, free glucometers, blood pressure monitors, subject to conditions. Save the date March 1. See you at Cost You Less West Bay Road, A.L. Thompson's Home Depot, Foster's Airport, Foster's West Bay, Savannah United Church. The Rotary Central Health Check 25 Lifesaver, March 1st, supported by the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens and the Health Services Authority of the Cayman Islands. Knowing changes everything.
Cayman, could it be you? Tortuga's 10K giveaway is back, and someone's walking away with $10,000 in cash. Every time you spend $25 at Tortuga, in store or online at tortuga.ky, you get a shot at winning big. As well as $10,000 in cash, we've got thousands in giveaways to hand out every week. Think staycations, the latest iPhones, exclusive experiences, and more. Get in to win. Visit tortuga.ky for the full terms and conditions.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. And on this segment, we are talking with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service and also the National Drug Council. I'm welcoming in the studio Sergeant Jodi-Ann Powery with the RCIPS and Simon Miller, Prevention Specialist with the National Drug Council. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good morning, Kathy. Fantastic.
It's good to have you in.
Thank you for having us.
Man, right before you came, Simon, I was just updating Jodi on all my so-called neighborhood watch initiatives that I do on my own here. And a lot to go over, Jodi. And I, I'll be giving statements after the show, all sorts of things.
There you go.
So, it's good to have this connection, this relation.
And you know what? We need to encourage a lot more of those neighborhood watches,
Oh, they're happening. Yeah. they're happening. I pretty much more endorse neighborhood revenge more than anything. But, I know Jodi's going to be like, Kathy.
Can't say that.
Yes, can't say that. But we're going to, I said it. So there's that. Jodi just can't endorse that, right?
Yes.
So we're going to be talking a little bit about Operation Winter Guardian and what went on for that. So just to give a bit of a summary that Susan had nicely put together for me.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, the entire Winter Guardian campaign, which ran from the 16th of December to the 6th of January, the officers dealt with over 550 traffic-related incidents. Come on, guys. 550. That's crazy.
Oh, and we can't forget the time frame for that, because that's Operation Winter Guardian. We started really late.
That's 3 weeks.
Yeah, so we started on the 16th of December.
Yeah.
Just about there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
16th of December to the 6th of January.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So those incidents range from motor vehicle collisions to persons stopped and ticketed for traffic offenses. 23 of these incidents were DUIs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually surprised it was just 23. While 85 were speeding offenses. I'm actually surprised it was just 85. But I mean, you're catching them, so that's the important thing.
The focus really was encouraging good driving behavior. So we tried to have a robust presence in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst the enforcement was very important, the safety aspect of things was also even more so important in the preservation of life. So a lot of discussions were had with motorists, a lot of conversation about their driving behavior that was identified. And mostly we had lots of vehicle checkpoints, which is a deterrent to speeding.
Yes,
so, yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And drinking.
Yes.
Big time.
Absolutely.
There was also about 122 people prosecuted for using a vehicle without the proper licensing or registration.
Right. And that's what those vehicle checkpoints are really good at.
Yes.
Yes. Because you've already slowed down. You already know that we're going to be out there so you don't drink and drive. But your vehicles need to also be up to date. And at these vehicle checkpoints, we're able to check that.
And do you remember that? It might have been the last time you were in But I said, oh no, I have to go update my
yes,
my
you
vehicle
did.
licensing. And I did.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Perfect.
So I'm not one of those people there that are part of the stats. I'm very happy. And I got the little text message, Kathy.
Yes.
The time is coming up, coming again. I'm like, yes, I know.
Yes.
So there was also 21 prosecutions for using a mobile phone while driving.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good stat.
Yeah.
How do you guys see that?
To be honest, like when I'm driving in the mornings, it is very easy to see because people do things like this, like they hold their phone up.
Oh, like they're on speaker in a sense, and they hold their phone,
Yeah.
they're talking. It's in the palm of their hand,
I'm
and
like,
they're talking.
well, if the phone is on speakerphone, why can't you just put it down?
Right.
Because that's the purpose of
Speakerphone, right.
But yeah, no, they have it here, or they're texting, and it's like right in their faces, like.
Right.
So it's not very hard to not see.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. That's a good point there. And some of us, not all of us, but some of us maybe with newer vehicles, we have it where our phone's already hooked up to our system. So that's such a handy thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
And if you're in the vehicle by yourself, you can get your text messages read out to you by your phone these days.
Yeah, you might want to be careful depending who's on the car for those text messages to come
so
through.
if you're by yourself,
Yes.
yeah. And you can also respond verbally instead of touching your phone. So,
Absolutely. So there's ways to help you with this. So
Yeah.
maybe if you're one of those frequent mobile phone users while driving, you might want to look at maybe updating the car if it's in your budget to do so, and know that, hey, most cars come with the capabilities that you can just connect your phone to the car and go from there. So you don't have to use your hands. You don't have to worry about that.
Right.
And the little transmitters are very cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get some as low as $15. So
what? That's
I don't have a very new car, so I have one of those.
I don't even know about using transmitters in that sense. Okay. Well, look at that. Even better than buying a whole new car.
Yeah.
$15. That's a much better option.
While we're on the topic of mobile phones, in order for you not to be considered using your mobile phone, it means that the function that you're doing has to be a one-touch function. You can't say, oh, I wasn't using my mobile phone while driving because the phone was on speakerphone and you're holding it. Or you can't prop it on a holder and text from it on the holder.
Crazy. Do people, you're like, that's not so crazy. People do that, Kathy.
People do that, Kathy.
That's insane to me. How can you be texting these little tiny letters on a phone when you're supposed to be driving at the same time?
One touch function. One touch to answer, one touch to hang up. That's it. One touch function.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's, if you're going to use it, that's what it's for.
Yes.
Okay. All right. There was also, it says, a significant increase in road fatalities compared to 2023, with 14 deaths in 2024 compared to 9 in 2023. In addition, 4 of these were during the festive season in December. I don't think I realized it was 4. I know at the very beginning of December there was a couple.
Yes.
I didn't realize that there was more. I know I went away for a little tiny bit.
Yeah. So there was actually, I believe, one on Christmas morning and one on Boxing Day.
Boxing Day, I remember. Oh my gosh, Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So there was one in Bodentown, and then just after that there was one on Esterly Tibbetts. Yeah.
Okay. Very sad.
Bodentown in the Lower Valley area, a young man, and then a young lady.
Okay, I remember reading about this. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then the ones earlier in the month, I think about the 2nd of December or so, and then the 7th or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in hearing about the stats that happened during Operation Winter Guardian, the results pertaining to the vehicle collisions, the speeding, and other offenses, compared to the year before, do you think the operation was more successful? There's more awareness out. People are abiding by the rules.
I think that it is very difficult for us to measure prevention. Very, very difficult for us to measure prevention. And I think that what we find is that there is a continued progression towards a disregard for safety in Cayman where driving is concerned.
What do you think are some of those factors that might be leading to that increased lack of care for safety?
Right. I honestly can't say specifically what the causes are, but I do know that what we found is that there's been a steady progression of an increase in motor vehicle accidents or collisions. I don't like to say accidents. Accidents imply that nobody's at fault.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna try to remember to use collisions now going forward in that sense. Yeah.
Right.
'Cause somebody's at fault for sure.
Yes. Whether it be because you weren't paying attention and it's a damage only collision between two vehicles, somebody ran in the back of your vehicle. The other day, I had a discussion with a traffic officer, Officer Dawkins, who said that, he was driving to work one morning and saw a lady in her car putting on a full face of makeup while she was driving.
Women do this a lot.
Yes. Yeah. We should probably not do that.
No,
Yes. And it is an offense.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's driving without due care and attention. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Even I'm realizing that people don't know how to use the four-way stop. On my way to work last Thursday, the four-way stop by Hospital Road and Crew Road.
Saying that somebody doesn't know how to do a basic function where it comes to driving means that we should be considering returning that person to the licensing department to have their license reevaluated.
I almost got smacked right in the side, and it was, how it's your turn to go. The car right before them just went, and then they decided they're going to go as well. And I was, and then, I had to come to work for the show, so I couldn't sit there and be like, all right, guy, what are you doing, right? There was no time for me to have words, but
honestly, I think it still boils down to not paying attention.
Right, lack of care.
Yeah,
not
and
paying
a lack
attention.
of care.
I'm curious what you think about this, because I have seen, we have an increased population, right? The 20, 30,000 people have come in the past few years to the Cayman Islands. So that increase in population, many different cultures arriving, and what their driving habits might be in their country and what they're used to as opposed to what we do here. And I'm not going to name the country, but it is it's an Asian country. And Asia's pretty big, guys. So so I'm not naming the country. And the younger person, they're under 25, has one of those, it's like the little scooter bike things. It's not the bicycle, but it's like a scooter that's, I don't know, it can go pretty fast. Those people are also super crazy because they don't abide by any of the rules. They just fly. I have a bit of a problem with them because they have no care when it comes to paying attention to what the other vehicles are doing. And as with this person, so I understood speaking to their parents that they're like, well, why does Cayman follow so many driving rules? Why everybody's so proper here? And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Why do we abide by driving rules? Because the country where she's from, it's just kind of a free for all on the roads, tons of cars on the roads, no real lanes. So she's just in and out. Yeah, it was crazy. So when it comes to, and she has her license over there. So when it comes to here, I'm kind of looking at, okay, what's happening in other cultures and how they're adapting their driving methods from these other countries to Cayman, and how it's really becoming a big part of the collisions that we're experiencing in Cayman.
It is definitely a factor and something to consider. However, I think that the responsibility is on the driver to ensure that you are able to maneuver on the roadway in any jurisdiction that you find yourself living in. That's your responsibility to make sure that you know what the laws and regulations are in the jurisdiction that you live in compared to where you are coming from, so that you are in the right and the know.
Right, to follow them, to abide by what that jurisdiction's laws are.
Absolutely.
Because one day I might just hit her and I'm not going to stop. I know that sounds terrible, but
no, you'll have to stop, Kathy, because it's also an offense to leave.
Keep going. I know.
Leave the scene of an accident.
But man, they be driving me nuts. So
you'll have to stop. Yes.
Yeah, if you know any drivers like that, everybody please out there listening, ask them to kind of heed the law, pay attention to the law.
During the Arrive Alive 345 campaign, my motto has been, if you are a passenger in a vehicle and you are driving with a driver that is being unsafe, you are just as culpable as they are, because why aren't you saying something to them? They have your lives in their hands.
Yeah, I have. It hasn't gone all well. Sometimes between the driver and I, but
but sometimes it has to be that way
Yeah,
in
it
order
does.
for them to take the situation seriously. And I think that
you got to call it out.
Problem.
Yeah, you have to call it out.
That's a part of the problem. People don't take it seriously.
You know, you bring up a very important point. During some of the education sessions that we run in the schools, I make sure I make that a point to the young people that is in front of me. You know, even if it's your parent, you see them doing something. I know you said your son.
Yeah, I can't even drink a bottle of water in the car. He says you're not supposed to drink and drive, Mom.
Oh, he's well trained. Okay, I like that.
Mom, what are you doing?
I like that. We got to go to commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into the Arrive Alive campaign results and go from there.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Celebrate Valentine's Day with an unforgettable night of music and inspiration. The 2025 Cayman Arts Festival presents the world-renowned Mark de Lisa Singers and the beloved First Baptist Church Choir coming together for a powerful gospel concert. The award-winning MDL singers have shared the stage with legends like Lionel Richie, Alicia Keys, and Diana Ross. Now they join Pastor Dave George and the First Baptist Church Choir to deliver a night of faith, love, and music. Friday, February 14th at 7 p.m. at First Baptist Church. Tickets are just $40 for adults and $15 for students. Call 922-5550 or email enquiries@caymanartsfestival.com for more details. Don't miss this extraordinary event, sponsored by Butterfield Bank.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. And in studio with me, I have from the RCIPS, I have Sergeant Jodi-Ann Powery. And from the National Drug Council, or NDC, we have Simon Miller. So we were talking a little bit about Operation Winter Guardian, about some bad driving habits, and that I will not be leaving the scene of a crime in case I, do hit one of the little scooter people that be driving me nuts out there. But moving on from that, we did have the Arrive Alive campaign. Simon, you have good news for us?
Yes, the whole objective, Kathy, is to reinforce road safety, which,
we're discussing.
We were just discussing. However, there's still a need for ongoing community support. Hence on why the campaign is going to the public's going to see the campaign stretched in and throughout the year. So when you see our flags, again, that's just reminding people, we want people to just drive with a certain amount of caution, be safe on our roads, abide by the laws that Jodi was just educating us about. So we build a culture where, people are using our roadways responsibly, whether that's, if you're a designated driver or, not to be texting, wearing your seatbelts, making sure your car is roadworthy, those sort of things.
Right. What were the key outcomes for the Arrive Alive? I was about to say 2025 campaign, but 2024.
Well, we were very happy to know that people utilize the bus service. we partnered with, this year we did something new. We partnered with the Cayman Limo, and we had a express limousine service from the West Bay Road bringing people into Georgetown. And the discussions that followed after that was how could we have this service, sort of happen year long.
I think that's been a reoccurring theme.
Yes, it does. It's very costly, so we need support. However, there is ongoing dialogue, like I said, to try and see how we can make that happen, and maybe we start with this particular arm of it and then look at how we can expand it throughout the country.
What made you want to partner with, what was the limo service called?
Cayman Limo.
Yeah, what made you want to partner with that?
They actually came to us.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, they came to us. They seen the Purple Ribbon Bus service, and they felt that they could come on board and bring a unique service, and they did, and it worked out. Very well.
I actually love that idea because some people, when you're getting all super fancy, might not want to hop on the bus, but might want to be like, you know what, I'm going to come in a little fancier vehicle, and
there you go.
It's going to be a limo, and boom.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of cool.
And to our surprise, people actually were in their tuxedos and everything else, and realize the service.
So. Well, I hope so. I hope they weren't in their like athleisure gear. Like, let me take a limo now. So what was the feedback from the people who did use the limo service?
From the limo service, I mean, it's frequent, So because of course it had a shorter distance to travel, so it was there, it was available, and it stopped at all of the major hotels along the West Bay Road and bringing people into town, and it just turned around and just went back and kept doing that all evening. So, what
did you see from the 2024 Arrive Alive campaign that you could look to change for the next one, which I guess would be this winter coming 2025?
More awareness. We want to get the message out there because we want to create that culture cafe that people see the service and they utilize it, and we want them to be responsible. Even if you don't use the bus and you're going to go out whenever, it doesn't have to be New Year's Eve, whenever throughout the year, and you're going to take have a drink, even if it's just one drink.
Right.
Have a plan. Have somebody who's going to be responsible, who's not going to drink and get you home safely.
That's something that, Jodi, you mentioned a lot when we were previously on. I can't remember if it was December, but the have a plan.
Yeah.
That was the big thing.
Absolutely.
Have a plan.
Well, you kind of always have a plan when you're going out. You just kind of need to include getting home in your plan.
Right.
Which doesn't include drinking and driving.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it means that you might have to cut your drinking budget by about $50 so that you can call a taxi.
Right.
To get home.
Yeah, you really harped on that last time, and I was like, it does make sense because we plan out, especially for the women, we might be planning out our hair and our dress and all that, and then men do it too. Men will go to the barber, get a little shape up, something, and what they're gonna wear. So it's like if we can spend all this time on the look, why can't we invest in the safety of us getting home when we know we're gonna party and have a good time?
Absolutely. Simon, I'm always putting you on the spot.
Oh, here you go,
when
Simon.
we're here. But I have a question.
Sure.
For this upcoming Arrive Alive campaign, if a promoter wanted to approach NDC and say, can you please make my event location one of your stops? Is that something that you think we could incorporate?
I'm happy that you bring that up. Yes, absolutely.
Did you guys practice this before time?
Jodi, it has happened before. You remember when we used to have clock strike up at
Pedro? Right.
The promoters reached out to us and we made sure, and they even went to the extent where the DJs were mentioning all evening, because I went in there, I rode the bus, went inside there, and I heard them. And now I don't know if it's because I walked into the party that they said, remember the Purple Ribbon Bus, but they were saying it throughout, and then I left and I went back on the bus.
I do think that the DJs have been, for the very limited events that I've been to over the past year, saying a lot of make sure that you don't drink and drive, Yeah.
That's a really good point, though, because there is a lot of events.
Yes.
We know that there's some kind of signature events that happen.
Every year.
Different promoters throw a handful of events every year. We have carnival season coming up now. Easter coming up. a lot going on with elections, different parties. So, I mean, that's going to be different. But our signature events that we do have every year, and especially with the carnival parties that happen.
I do want to also encourage the, especially the carnival organizers. I know that, for instance, On the Scene Entertainment has Badabanu this year. Make sure that you incorporate shuttle services as much as possible, whether it be for the overall event or the individual bands. I know that there have been in the past a lot of bands that do incorporate shuttle services. Unfortunately, the mile home is usually the issue. So the buses would normally go from one distance to the next, and they take you as far as they can take you. But the mile home is where we usually fall a little short, and we tried to fix that problem this year.
Yeah, and hopefully, just to let Kathy and the listening audience know, we're looking at a particular approach for that in 2025 this year.
Okay.
So to get you that extra...
Actually right to your door.
Yes, yeah.
Did you do that with the Arrive Alive campaign at all? I thought that maybe we had talked about it.
Some of the buses did.
Okay.
Yeah. It went on the way home. Yeah.
Right.
But we want to incorporate that this year into it as best as we can.
Yeah.
We're gonna pick some strategic locations and try to work.
Because that would have been on the initiative of the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and shout out to the drivers who gave up their New Year's Eve.
I mean,
to shuttle service throughout the night.
It's such a sacrifice, you know.
It is, but it can also be highly entertaining as the driver when you're on there.
It's one way to look at it.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, for someone who have rode the buses for a number of years, you know, it is.
It's highly entertaining.
It is.
It is. Okay, so that's one of the things that you're kind of looking at in the future to do with Arrive Alive is hopefully it could be door drop off.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's a good thing. Because we all know how we can go and get a ride to pick up our cars, or walk the mile or whatever it might be to the location to once we go to a little location and we have to leave our cars there and then hop on the bus to go wherever we're going, we know that in the morning we can get back to that location and collect our vehicles.
Yep, there you go.
So there's that. Is there anything else about the Arrive Alive campaign that you want to let people know? Do you have any numbers in the sense of how many people participated?
I don't have the actual numbers in front of me, but I know we transported over 4,000 persons rode the bus.
Wow, that's huge, Simon.
So, we're very pleased.
Yeah, that's very, very good.
I mean, you think about it, right? Even if it was one person and that person was going to be a person who went out there and drinking, possibly take their life or somebody else's life,
right?
And so it's if you're trying to use numbers to measure success, we try to stay away from that as much as possible because we just want to see people utilizing the bus service, and it doesn't mean that you have to be somebody who's going out to have a drink. It's for everybody,
right?
Because less cars on the road. Jodi and her team, can
relax a little bit. No more overtime. Y'all might be able to enjoy the holidays yourselves a little bit. When I said no more overtime, Jodi looked like, no,
always be on the road. We provide a 24/7 service to the Cayman Islands.
Yes, but you can't be working 24-hour shifts. We can have collisions. There's things to think about. Simon, you did mention that it takes a lot of support if we were looking to be able to offer these buses throughout the year, which is... It's something that's been asked about if we could do it, or even for the certain events that go on. So when it comes to the reality of making that happen, what are the logistics that you're looking at to say, hey, I know funding is a big one. So what kind of funding are you looking at?
Funding is huge, right? And then every year, cost of doing business anywhere in the world goes up, right? So that would change from time to time, and then how we want to get our message out there also, changes. So that is another cost factor. It costs. It really does. So we're forever grateful for those sponsors that come on year after year, and the list is very long. But you can visit the arrivealive.ky website or the ndc.ky website, and you'll see all the list of sponsors. So thank you so much.
I think it's a pretty noble cause to help support. Yeah. So if we were able to have these kind of shuttles year round, and I know a lot of organizations be seeking different charities or things to involve themselves within the year. So somehow being able to get the message out that this is something that these organizations can look at supporting, I think that will be that's a great cause for them to be involved in, because you're saving lives, you're helping people get safely somewhere, you're reducing the collisions on the road, encouraging safe driving practices and habits, and discouraging drinking and driving. So we're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to get a couple of updates. I got Jodi on the hot seat to give me a couple of updates on some incidents that have been happening regarding crime in the Cayman Islands in the, I guess, I want to say past few weeks, past couple of months. Maybe not that far back, Jodi. But a couple things to talk about, and we will go to a commercial break and be back.
Hi, I'm Max. What's your favorite part of school?
I love science. I love playing outside. What's yours?
It's lunch.
Ha! Yum. Yes, yum.
Yum School Lunch program ensures your kids have fresh, healthy lunch options every day. Yum School Lunches are now available at selected private and public schools across Grand Cayman.
My favorite food from school is pasta, jerk chicken, and spaghetti and meatball.
I love Cayman-style beef, chicken curry. Yum. We love school lunch. Yum.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The Cayman Islands Fire Service will be commencing comprehensive fire safety inspections across all public occupancy buildings. These inspections are in accordance with the Fire Safety Code and are critical in maintaining a safe environment. We appreciate the cooperation of all business owners, property managers, and the general public in this important initiative. Together, we can prevent fire-related incidents and enhance the overall safety of our community. For more information on the Fire Safety Code and what to expect during the inspections, please contact the Cayman Islands Fire Service Fire Prevention Unit at 949-2499 or email us at firesafetyinspections@gov.ky.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
All right, welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm Kathy Miller, and in studio from the RCIPS, I have Sergeant Jodi-Ann Powery, and we have from the NDC, Simon Miller. Simon was just giving us an update on the Arrive Alive campaign and hopefully what their plans are in the next year and what we're going to see in the next Arrive Alive campaign come. It's usually December, right? Or no, a little longer than that.
We kick off around October, November time, yeah.
A few months, so yeah. Gala season, holiday party season, yes. So, okay. Now, Jodi, I said I was gonna be asking you for some updates on some of the crime incidents that are happening in Cayman. Sure. We do know that just the other day there were 3 male juveniles charged with reckless and negligent acts and other offenses, and that's in relation to an accident that Honorable Minister Dwayne Seymour got in the summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 3 male juveniles, they were charged, as you said, with reckless and negligent act, damage to property, and criminal trespass in relation to that incident. And they will be appearing before the court on the 21st of February.
So we say juveniles. Do we know their age?
I don't have their ages, and we don't normally publish that because they are youngsters, and we don't want to divulge too much information about them.
So then we had an incident, I think, last week where it was another juvenile that stole a car. I think they were a juvenile. I'm not 100%. Just seeing a picture, I was like, he looks like he's 12. I mean, hopefully he was older than 12.
Yeah.
Are we seeing an increase in juvenile activity in that sense?
I don't know if it's particularly an increase because I have been dealing with juveniles committing crimes since I started policing. I just think that now, especially with social media and the development of cameras and that kind of stuff, a lot of things are being highlighted a lot more now,
right,
than it used to be. So I don't think that it's a fact that, you know, children are just absolutely out of hand or whatever the case may be. I just think that a lot of things are being brought to the forefront, and sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
So, in our crime statistics for last year, because we don't have this year's as yet, we see a gradual increase, for instance, in juvenile referrals to the MASH unit and to domestic violence referrals to the MASH unit. And on the surface, it looks as if there's an increase in incidents involving juveniles or incidents involving DV, but those matters have been grossly and significantly underreported in the past.
I was just going to say maybe it's an actual case of being reported.
So I
now.
think that with the increase of awareness in our community comes an increase in reports, and it then means that more people are getting the help that they need.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate that. I appreciate that more people are coming forward to make these reports.
Right. And with these children, because they are children, whether they're teens or not, being involved in this incident, it may be that they require a certain attention that maybe the court will be able to assist them with.
Okay.
And maybe it's the right time to, you know, have identified that these things are happening so that they can have an early intervention.
Right. Well, hopefully.
Hopefully.
That would scare me enough. The fact that whatever I've done almost took somebody's life.
Yes.
Because I understand the minister was, it was a really, really serious condition that he was in. It was a very, very close call. So I couldn't imagine being at any age and doing that, but especially as a juvenile and doing something that was so super reckless.
Absolutely.
That could have taken somebody's life. That would stay with me forever, absolutely forever. And that would be enough for me to change I feel like I'm speaking from experience, and maybe I am, but it would be enough for me to change my ways going forward, you know. And hopefully we don't have to go through those lessons, you know, to learn them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully others will see what has taken place and learn from what has taken place.
Yeah, it's not a cool thing to do. All right, we also had a week of action
in
Georgetown. What was this all about?
So we had the week of action is basically us just kind of pooling our resources and giving specific attention to areas and things in the community that required attention. So, for instance, we had a large amount of warrants that needed to be executed. We probably had, and we do have, like a number of communities where police presence is needed. So we put together a team. It was a collaborative team, and we were able to execute quite a number of search warrants. On our team was also the CBC, and they were able to engage over 80 individuals, and they arrested 12 persons out of the 87 for overstaying from their overstayers list.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 12. So that was part of the warrants, I guess, that they had?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
was there 87? Wait, there's 87 people that are overstaying?
No.
Or 87 warrants?
They engaged 87 persons.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how many warrants were issued?
So overall, there were 21 arrests. 12 were for the CBC officers for the overstaying, and we also arrested 9 individuals during that period as well.
That was a week. That was in a week.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's good. That's great work.
I don't know how many actual warrants were executed, but I do know that of the 9 that were arrested, there were 4 persons for possession and consumption of ganja, possession of cocaine with intent to supply, possession of ganja with intent to supply, animal cruelty, cockfighting, and chickens were seized during that time as well. So DOA was also a part of our week of action.
Don't they know about our egg shortage that's happening? We need our chickens. You know,
these chickens are actually specific chickens to cockfighting, so I think they were illegally imported. Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yes. That being said, there was one person also arrested for handling stolen goods and burglary. One person arrested for DUI, and one person arrested for being in charge of a vehicle while intoxicated.
Wow. So that was all during the week of action.
Absolutely.
Which was from the 3rd to the 10th of February.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of action happening.
Yeah. The Cayman Islands Regiment and the Department of Environmental Health also participated. They assisted us with the cleanup of a crown land in the Rockhole area as well.
Okay.
That entailed the removal of garbage, the cutting down of foliage to make the area safer, removal of derelict vehicles that may have been harboring criminal activity in the area.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now we know that there was a a robbery of a delivery driver in Georgetown as well that happened
yes.
on the weekend, right?
There was actually 2 robberies that took place
okay.
Over the weekend. One of them happened outside of Wellies, where the female that was robbed actually got injured during the exchange, and then the other one was of the delivery driver, I believe, in the Windsor Park area.
Right.
It's from memory, so I'm hoping I'm...
Right. No, I think you're right. I think it was in the Windsor Park area. And from my understanding, it was more than one person that approached the delivery driver.
Yes. That's based on the account that we were given, yeah.
Okay. And you guys are looking for information.
We are.
You're appealing to the public.
Yes, we are appealing to the public for information in terms of what took place, if you have any information about who was involved, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I might have some information for you. You know, we'll see what happens. My neighborhood seems to be a bit of a hotbed for things going on. I will say that I know that when you did come in before in December, I talked about some individuals. I live, off Walker's Road. And I talked about some individuals at that time that were every single night for 2.5 months breaking into vehicles. They were doing other acts, and I'm not sure I can say what those acts are. Sexual acts, though, on, being caught on camera, sleeping in vehicles. I don't know if they were starting to break into some homes. I think there was some attempts, and there was at least 3 individuals in my neighborhood that were constant every single night. And my neighbors and I, we made our reports. Several reports were made, and so much footage was shared. And I'm happy to say that after almost 2.5 months of being terrorized nightly, it was very hard for me to sleep because, stuff is going on. I know all those individuals were arrested and taken off the streets. So I'm happy to know that the police were able to finally resolve that for us. So I can sleep a little better now. It makes things a little bit more peaceful. And if there's anything that you would want to let our listeners know, to appeal to them about if you see things going on, because like me, I do have a little bit of frustration in the sense that I've made a report, I've done this, and I keep feeling sometimes that I'm played down a little bit when I do approach a police officer and say, this is going on. Why aren't you guys doing anything? Like, we have so much information for you. If there's anything that you would, say to kind of explain what's going on.
If you're a member of the public and you do have information, the best information to give us is information that we can use in investigations. So we require statements from persons, and live evidence. Human evidence is still the best evidence when it comes to court matters.
What do you mean when you say human evidence?
So me sitting down and taking a statement from you, and then you saying, yes, I am happy to assist in this investigation. I am willing to attend court during an investigation to say that this is what I said to the police and this is the truth.
Okay.
That is live human evidence, and it's still the best evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
and it's one of the struggles that we have in the police, that we have very little people that are willing to put themselves out there for the greater good of the community and provide information for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We got to close off, so if there's any lasting thoughts you want to leave with people, now's the time to do so.
One of the things that we didn't get to this morning is police issuing warning on the use of illegal dirt bikes. We have been seeing that developing a little bit more over the past few weeks. So I'm encouraging you to go onto our website and have a look at that press release. Under Section 77A of the Traffic Act, we are legally able to seize illegal dirt bikes from members of the public if they are being used for criminal offenses.
Well, yeah, we'd hope so if they're being used for criminal offenses. All right. Thank you both for joining us this morning. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Kathy, thanks for having us as usual.
No problem at all. And I'll be talking to you, I guess, next month, right, Jodi?
Yes.
Yes. All right, everybody, we're going to go to the 9 a.m. news. Remember, Valentine's Day is tomorrow. This is your last warning from me, men, to get it all together. Treat your ladies, treat your moms, treat your daughters, treat the special women in your life, your co-workers. I'm just going to say it all, Enjoy Valentine's Day tomorrow. I know it's every day. Well, guess what? There's also a special day for it. So, if it's every day, then get us something every day. How about that? The pressure is on. And I like to call Thursday Friday Eve. So enjoy the rest of your Thursday. I mean, we just kind of started here, but enjoy the rest of your Thursday, the rest of your week. And I will be back with you on the Business Buzz next week.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse on the Yum website. Just visit yumcayman.ky for more info.
Yesterday. Today.
Always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman.